Well, hi everybody. Welcome to my kitchen. Welcome to Karen's Sizzle and Spice. That's just a little bit of my dance therapy. You know, today's video I would like to dedicate to all the first responders that are helping out our country and all the countries in the world as we go through this COVID pandemic. Cookies always make me feel better. I mean, really, you guys have got to try the dance therapy if you haven't yet, because it always makes me smile and helps me not worry about things for a while, which is what we need during this time. So anyway, the cookies I'm making today, I love chocolate chip cookies and any variation of. So today what I'm making is chocolate chip oatmeal raisin cookies. That's a mouthful, isn't it? So are the cookies. Chocolate chip oatmeal raisin cookies. Let's get this one going. These cookies are going to be so delicious, and you know, I love a good cookie that you can put in the freezer, because there's just two of us here, just Ed and I. But whenever I make cookies, I make a big batch, because you never know when the kids are going to come over, when I'm going to go visit them. I can just grab a few right out of the freezer. They taste just as good as the day I bake them. But if you have kids, you will have to hide them from them, because my kids used to eat them right out of the freezer. So you can't always win that way, but it's a great thing to be able to freeze these. So all we're gonna need today is some raisins. We'll be using some instant oats. We'll be using some sugar, some flour, of course. I gotta open up these new bags for myself. We'll be using a whole pound of butter, so you know they're gonna be good. We'll be using some baking soda. We'll be using some vanilla. We'll use 2 eggs. We're going to use brown sugar, and I'm going to use some white chocolate chips and some dark chocolate. You know, having the oatmeal in here and the dark chocolate just makes me feel a little better, because it's pretty good for me. So let me show you how we'll get this one going. I'm just laughing to myself. I should have put my glasses on sooner. We're not using a whole pound of butter. It's a half a pound of butter with just 1 cup. Don't want to make that mistake. So you know, it's a good tip when you look at new recipes or even your old recipes, because I've had this one for a long time. I kind of double check and triple check all my ingredients, especially when it comes to baking, because it's a pretty exact science. So we're just using 2 sticks of butter, which equals 1 cup. So let me get measuring all the rest of this stuff out. So one of the first things I'm going to do to get these cookies going is I'm going to preheat my oven to 350. Then I'm going to prepare my baking sheets. I'm going to use 2 cookie sheets, because when I make cookies, I don't like to overcrowd the oven. I like to just have 2 shelves with cookies on it right in the center, so they'll all cook evenly. What I did here is I cut out a piece of parchment paper to fit my cookie sheet, and I always like to use some spray pan on my cookie sheet. And then my parchment paper I can put right in place, and I know it's not going to go anywhere. You know what I also forgot? We are going to use a pinch of salt in these cookies. It's funny how the salt brings out the sweetness even more in cookies to make them even better. So I'm going to prepare my other baking sheet, and I'll be right back. I do have to say this, I love any good excuse for bringing out my stand mixer. I love this thing. For a lot of years I couldn't afford one. I've had this for maybe a year, even 2 years now, and I just love how easy it is to make cookies with this. But for, you know, a long time, and if you don't have one, you can certainly mix up your cookie dough by hand. It just takes a little bit longer. I just love this thing. So I'm going to get all my ingredients measured out. That'll be all my mise en place ready to go to make this cookie making easier. I'll be right back. So when I make cookies with my stand mixer, I like to add 1 ingredient in at a time. Now these 2 sticks of butter I left out for a little while so they would soften a bit. So I'm going to start with the butter. I'm going to put that in my stand mixer here. And I'm going to let it whip up really nice for a couple of minutes. And I'll show you what it looks like in a couple minutes. I let this butter whip up nice and fluffy for a couple minutes here. Now I'm just going to add my brown sugar. And I'm gonna add my white sugar. I'm gonna turn this back on for a couple more minutes. At some point, I'll push everything down off the edges to make sure everything's incorporated very well. While this batter is mixing up, can I just say, have you noticed my measuring cups and my measuring spoons? They're purple. You know my favorite color is purple. I used to have a plastic set of measuring cups and spoons, and I don't know how many times they burnt in my dishwasher, so I said enough. Went on Amazon, found these adorable matching measuring cups and spoons. I will leave the link for this in the description of my video, so if you'd like some of these for yourself, you can find the link there, and they come in all different colors. We'll be right back. Okay, my batter has been mixing for a couple of minutes here. The next step is to put in my eggs. I'm just gonna let one egg fall in here at a time. Second egg. And then I'm gonna add 2 teaspoons of vanilla. There's 1. There's 2. We're gonna let this mix for a couple minutes and I'll be right back. Okay, now that this is mixing for a couple of minutes, I'm going to add 1/2 teaspoon to my flour. The flour is 1 1/4 cups. And here's 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. And I'm gonna add in 1 teaspoon of salt. I'm gonna stop my mixer, otherwise I'm gonna get a face full of flour. And I'm just gonna pour this right in here. And now when I start this up, I'm gonna start it on slow, again, so it doesn't snow all over me. And I'll be right back when this is all incorporated. All right, now that we've got this mixed for a couple more minutes, I'm gonna turn this off. And I'm gonna add in 3 cups of my instant oats. This will make you feel healthier, won't it? I know it'll help me to feel a little bit healthier about eating these cookies. Then I'm adding 1/2 cup of raisins. I'm adding 1/2 cup of white chocolate chips. And I'm adding 1/2 cup of dark chocolate chips. I'm gonna put my blender, my stand mixer here on low. I'm gonna let this mix up real well, and then we'll start putting these on the cookie sheets. Yum, yum, and yum. So this cookie batter is ready to go. I can't wait to try these later. I'm also gonna gift some of these to some very special people. One of them being my daughter Gina, who is one of those first responders. I'm making dinner for her tonight and dessert, the works, because she deserves it. So you remember I prepared my baking sheets with the spray pan and the parchment paper. And now I'm just going to drop this batter by spoonfuls right on my parchment paper. I'm gonna leave them, about 1 inch apart or so. Actually, I think I wanna make them a little bit bigger than that. Come in closer, Ed. And it's just important as you're baking cookies that you wanna get them all about the same size. But these are gonna expand in the oven as they bake. So you wanna make sure you leave enough room for that. These are gonna be delicious. I love white chocolate, I love dark chocolate, I love it all. I'm just gonna keep filling these trays. And these are gonna go in the oven for between 10 and 15 minutes. It depends on your oven, really. You've gotta check them to see if they're nice and golden brown around the edges. And I will show you what they look like then. So these ended up taking 17 minutes in the oven at 350. But everybody's oven's a little bit different. So when you see that they're browning around the edges, you know they're done. Also, when you take them out of the oven, make sure you leave them in the tray to cool for about 5 minutes because they're so soft. And then I'm gonna lay them on the racks underneath here to cool for longer. My kitchen smells like heaven. Can't wait to try these in a while. I think I'll make a special one for Ed. He'll be so surprised. Does one of these things look different to you? Whoa! My kitchen smells so good. These cookies are ready now. I let them cool on the rack for about 15 minutes and we can't wait any longer. We have to taste these. So Ed, come on in. The cookies are ready to go.
All right. I could smell them all the way out in the garage.
It does smell so good. Do you see anything here that looks different than the rest?
Yes, I do.
What's that?
This one must have my name on it. A man-sized cookie.
I made it special for you. It's almost as big as your face.
Ah.
Go ahead and try it.
All right.
Go ahead and try it. I'm going to try one too. Ooh. Oh my God. Crispy on the outside, chewy on the inside. Oh my gosh, I love these.
They are very good.
You guys have got to try these. You guys got to make these cookies. And don't forget your dance therapy for the day. It really helps a lot when you're stressed to relieve some of that stress.
Being that we can't get out and socialize now, this is what we've got to do for exercise.
So, visit my channel often and don't forget to subscribe. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye. No, I'm going to let you go for half an hour. Get your cardio in for the day.